I'm back with another one. So this first story was sent in by a family friend. And she says she was working at a casino in La Center, Washington. And one of her coworkers brought in a picture of a couple that had went to prom. Well, in the photo, she noticed all around them were little orbs. And each orb, there was a little old-fashioned girl in them. But each one had a different expression on her face. And the next story that she submitted was when she was home alone and in her bedroom. The door to the bedroom was like those old saloon doors. And she could see a shadow along the door, and it would get closer and go away, and then get closer. Well, it eventually went away. And the next morning, she woke to find her blankets off of her and all folded up neatly on the foot of the bed. Another one that she submitted took place in Port Townsend, Washington. She and my sister were in a gift shop. They were the only ones in there, and they were at opposite ends of the store. All of a sudden, she heard a whisper, "Hey, come here." She thought it was my sister, but when she saw that she wasn't even anywhere near her, that it couldn't have been her. So that was kind of interesting. And then another one just happened yesterday, October 24th, 2023, Tuesday. And this takes place in Vancouver, Washington, where she works now. She was in her office, and all of a sudden she saw the blinds go up halfway, then stop, then go up a little higher, and then went all the way up. And the blinds are the kind that you push up with no cord. And I guess one of her coworkers, she usually stays later, and our friend goes home before her. Well, she wanted to leave when she left, so because she didn't want to be left alone there. Now another one that is from my sister's friend, Carrie. She said this past weekend, October 21st through the 22nd, 2023, she has a charm that's shaped like an angel wings, and it's shaped into a heart that she got from a funeral. And the funeral was of her father-in-law. She was in her kitchen, and it just dropped in front of her. She picked it up and put it into her pocket. Then later, she went to put her shoes on, and it fell onto the floor, like it came from her shoe. Then she put it in her car. Up where those X's are, there's a ledge where she put it. And the photo that you see is the actual photo of where she found it. And when she came back to her car, it was propped up perfectly on the dashboard cubby. She also, I guess the father-in-law's urn had been in their bedroom closet for months, and she came into the bedroom and found it sitting on the floor. So that one was kind of spooky. This other submission is from my niece's friend, Lily. And Lily and my niece were in the kitchen at Lily's apartment. And my other niece was in the living room. Well, they were asking her some questions about what she wanted to eat, and she was answering them. Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, it turns out she was on her phone and didn't answer their questions at all. So somebody else was answering their questions. Now, this next one takes place in Lily's apartment again. One night, Lily woke up and heard banging on the door, and it was my niece's voices saying, "Lily, Lily." But of course, they weren't there. She also says that she has gone into the bathroom and has seen a face on the shower curtain. This next one took place at my sister's house. Her daughter said her door was open a little bit at night, and she heard the doorknob jiggle. And all of a sudden, the door slammed shut by itself. Another incident, my niece was in the kitchen, and she was coming into the family room, and she saw this giant creature and his hand reaching out to her. And she ran out into their deck and came back in later, but it was gone. Now, this one took place when my nieces and nephews were little. They were probably 3 and 5 years old. My niece and nephew found a Ouija board up in the rafters of their playhouse that their dad had built them. And the playhouse wasn't very old. It was just a couple years old. They were ages 3 and 5. And nobody would have anything like that there on the property. It just appeared in there. And I personally remember when my niece and nephew were little, maybe 2 or 3 years old, and they would talk about a boy they would see up in the trees. His name was Michael. They would say Michael would wake them up at night by touching their feet. So I imagine that he was shaking their feet like they did in the old days. And my sister would actually call me up saying how they would run into her bedroom screaming terrified at night, like around 2 a.m. in the morning, saying that Michael was waking them up. But that's all I have for you right now. So stay tuned for more.